today. This panel I'm not hosting. We have the flip room that will be hosting this question and answer session. And I want to tell you why. So Adam actually has a podcast. We've been on it, and a few of you probably have watched it. And we knew we were going to do question and answer sessions, and as soon as I watched his, I think it was the one with George, and I was like, this is my part to do, but as soon as I watched it, I was like, Adam needs to do this. Adam needs to be the host of the Q&A panel. He's so good at asking the questions and digging a little deeper. So, Adam will be in the room. He's going to have the mic. Are you ready, Adam?
Please, no pressure.
Big up for the flip room!
Dance. I can't dance.
So, you are going to so what I was doing, he wasn't here for the first Q&A.
Oh, I was in the rag house, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's alright. So, I just walk around just wherever. So wherever you want to be,
Okay.
you roll with it.
Sweet.
Let's give Adam a big cheer, because you got this, Adam.
Before we kick off, it'd be good to maybe get a feel for the room in regards to where people sell, maybe. So maybe just like raise of hands, like who sells on eBay? Let's take eBay. Okay, that's quite a lot. Okay. Depop?
No.
That's actually what I thought. Okay. Etsy? Those ones. Amazon? Only a few. I thought you were wrong with that. Vinted? Hey, naughty. You're not allowed.
Where's the winding?
Anywhere else that you guys sell off those platforms? Whatnot, yeah. Sure.
I've just been doing a whatnot show.
Cool. Who's got some questions for the great guests? Raise some hands. There we go. I'll come over. I'll run around.
Hi, Andrew, Monumental UK. You may have heard of me, you may not. I sell on eBay and Amazon. My question is for all the panel. If you could change one thing about your business, what would you change and why?
I would get an accountant because I hate doing my tax return, and every year I think I can do it myself, I can save money if I do it myself, and I always regret doing it myself, so I would definitely get an accountant.
I think I would probably get another employee just to help with the workload, basically.
Yeah, I would say the same. I think building a team is a really important part. If you're going to build a business, obviously the kind of business that we're trying to run. So I would say, yeah, more finding the right type of people. Not just anybody, but the right type of people.
I feel like I changed a lot of mine anyway now. Like, I didn't like putting stuff away after I took pictures of it. So, like, I feel like I'm gonna be like a random plug for Whatnot, but they've saved so much time. I don't have to like put anything away. So, if that's the only reason why I do it, honestly, just do it. Yeah, you don't have to put anything away.
I'd probably process things in the order that I buy them, because I find I always sort of like start with the stuff that I really like myself, and then things that I bought a year ago just gets like swept aside. So yeah.
Karim, actually on that one. Karim, back to you, bro. I'm over here. Yo, with that, like a death toll, right? Like, do you guys have any tips on how, like, is there actually any way to tackle that? I mean, or how do you get rid of the death pile? Do you just like, what's your tips on? Is it whether just like to stuck in, whether to wholesale it off, whether to car boot it? What's your recommendations in regards to maybe trying to get rid of stock you don't want to have anymore?
I mean, I'm not an expert at it, to be fair, so I'm probably not the best example, but just tackle it the same day, really. Yeah, just have like some sort of system where like you deal with the newest stuff first, and then that way you're sort of always on top of it. Yeah.
I would say something. what really helped me was, especially when I was doing eBay, when I had a death pile, I would literally treat it like a workload. I don't know who said it. It's one of these tech dealing, one of these guys. If you haven't seen him, legend, but it's literally 10 a day, let's say 10, 20, or whatever. But I literally used to go into my shed and look at the pile of clothes, and I'd just grab 10, any 10, and just work with them. Regardless of whether it was like an item which would sell as good or whatever, even if there was like a cheeky piece there which I want to list, I just did the 10 which was in front of me. I remember doing that for a week, and obviously if I only do 10 days, like 70, but the pile went very quickly, just because of making it a process, turning like a side hustle into more like a business, would you say? Doing like a mini business, even though you ain't got no boss, if that makes sense. Making yourself more self-accountable, and that works for me quite a lot. So.
I'm the opposite, so I'm pro-pile. There's nothing wrong with having a backlog, especially if you're a hand picker and you buy at car boots. Naturally, you're going to buy less over the winter, so to have that stock supply there when you can buy it, and you can buy it for a decent cost price, I think you should just buy as much as you can, especially if you've got the storage space to do so. And then, for example, the first lockdown, I didn't have a death pile, so then the shop shut and I had no stock, and I was buying stuff on Vinted that wasn't necessarily the stock that I would normally sell because I was desperate. And I think that's when your quality of the stock in your store goes down, is when you're desperate for stock. So I am pro-pile.
I want to say the same, but it's not good. I would say that I'd stick a podcast on or watch some YouTubers like Charlie P whenever he decides to upload a video. Stick a podcast on, stick a YouTube channel on, list 25 a day, just get it done, and then you can chill for the rest of the day, really. But that's all we do, really.
So I would say that it's preemptive. It's when it's at the buying time. When you're buying, you need to be picking up things that are not a project for a start. Anything that's going to be a project is going to get put to one side and be put away for another day. So I would be very cautious about picking up things that potentially need work, need repairing, even though it's a good deal. They do tend to get pushed to one side and then never get dealt with. We don't have a death pile, never have done, and we process quite a lot of items. But we would call it a queue, right? Would you say? She's not done one at all. But I would say it's more of a queue than a death pile. We'll never have a death pile. There's never items that are not going to get processed. So even if we've got a lot of items backlog, like Talia says, everything's going to be processed within time. So again, it goes to a little bit what Pete was saying as well. It's about putting together some processes. Even as a small business, you might not think that you need to put processes together, and I've only got a little pile in the corner, but that little pile can soon turn into a big pile. So I would say it's preemptive at the time when you're actually buying the item. Hopefully that answers it.
Yeah, hands up for questions. Right, I will get round to everyone. So even at the back. So yeah, I'm happy to run.
Hi, I'm Di, I'm from London. Following on from processes, when you've had an item, it's been on a month, maybe it's been on 2 months, what do you do? Like, do you let something run for 6 months and then put it to auction? I'm really interested to see beyond death pile when it is on there and it's not going, what do you do?
So again, it goes down to when you're actually buying the item, having knowledge of that item, how long is the sell-through rate on that particular item. So if something's got a fast sell-through and it's not selling quickly, then obviously there may be something wrong as regards to the price, or the way that you've described the items, the photos, or something like that. If it's got a longer sell-through rate, then obviously you need to give it a little bit longer. So if you're aware of the sell-through rate of that particular item when you're actually picking it up, then that's going to give you a better idea of how long it's supposed to sell, But I would also have some kind of process in place, like an aged inventory process, where maybe after 2 months, 3 months, whatever suits for that particular item, maybe go in and reduce items down by 5%, 10%, whatever your metrics are, to try to get that thing moving, because obviously sell-through rate is super important. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Daz just said then, to be honest. In our systems at the moment, we've got delist and sell similar 5 items every single morning. It's the first thing that we will do every single morning when we get into work, and it seems just to help refresh that item, give it a new item number, change the price, change the title, change the item specifics. Do that every single morning and stuff will start shifting. So we install that into our systems at work.
I don't actually have a clearance process, and I need to. There's many things you can do, but I think you need to try and find what works for your shop and what you can manage as well, admin-wise, especially if you're just one person. That's what I struggle with, is to factor it into a daily routine. So I think, yeah, listen to everyone else and not me on that one.
To be fair, I'm sitting with Talia, but now put it on whatnot. No, but all seriously, like, I look at things like Asda, right, and everything changes like every month or something. So I keep thinking, like, I look at big business and say, how do they do it? And I think there has to be a process with that. And I never did it personally on eBay. I think I had one item for like 4 years on there, and it's still not sold. But it's one of those things. It's with business. It's like, again, like, I feel like what keeps coming about now is the analytical side of everything. And I feel like if your business, you can put more analytics into it. And I was talking to Austin and Beth about this a couple of weeks ago, or a few months ago, and it's crazy. In fact, I speak to Daz as well, actually. I went to his warehouse. If you sent you a spreadsheet, right, it is the craziest spreadsheet. It'll tell you what you have for dinner next week. That's how crazy. But it's so important to have everything as like a mathematical thing rather than just, oh, I like that. I just bought it, you know. So I think it's really important to have that process, but write it down as well. I think it comes back down to when you bought the item, putting a date on the item. Then look at the spreadsheet and say, okay, that's my expiry date. You know how the charity shops do it? They've got the date on something. Probably similar to that, isn't it, really? I don't think there's anything. No, just a lot.
No waffle, mate. I don't have a specific cycle in which I sort of start to go through old listings and stuff, but when I do get round to it, it's just like a process of elimination, really. So, like, you know, different photos. Have I filled out all my item specifics? Have I missed out any keywords? And sometimes you just have to accept that, like, that particular item is for a specific buyer at the right time. So, yeah.
Cool. Any questions from anyone in the back of the room? Don't be shy. I feel there's a question over here. We've got one. You don't have one. We're going to come back. What's your name, sorry? Maisie. We're going to come back to Maisie. Yes, 1 second. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Nat. What's something that you have recently learned that was a bit unexpected about reselling?
For me, again, I'm going to talk about Daz and Austin, Beth and Piri. Like, they basically taught me the importance of writing things down. Like seriously, like writing things down. So since I've been on Whatnot, I know everything about my Whatnot account, if that makes sense. I know my most profitable show. I know my worst show. I know what each item costs for each show. I know what the average sell price was for each show. And it's because you do that, it's weird. You start being able to decipher what's actually going on, if that makes sense. So, like, if I said to Austin right now, what is your third profitable show? You'll be able to tell me again. Yeah? Daz, you'll probably be able to tell me what the hour was, what the profitable hour was. Like, and what tea is going to be made from that. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? Like, anyone I speak to who's doing well knows everything about their business, back to front. And so they know, like, the projected earnings, they know, like, the things which aren't working, so they drop that thing immediately. And even when the people we work with at the rag house and things, he can tell me, like, all sorts. I have no idea what he's saying. But it's so good that, so basically, that's the one thing I didn't expect, that you have to do the boring side of reselling for it to get really interesting.
I'm going to beat that one now. For me, it's sort of looking in wider places as opposed to just like boot sales and charity shops. So I'm having a lot more joy now with Facebook Market, looking up the event section on Facebook for like yard sales, jumble sales, boot fairs. They word it differently nowadays, but yeah, like just kind of like spreading my eggs in different baskets and not just going to the same place that maybe everyone else will be going that particular weekend.
I think for me, the most mind-blowing thing that I've learned in the past like 6-8 months is that your eBay shopfront can be picked up in keywords in the search. We were told this at the eBay Open, and I always make sure I tweak it now because it's not something I ever knew before then.
Neither did I. For me, it's the power of selling on 2 marketplaces or even 3 marketplaces. I think it's so important in today's day and age that you actually settle down on a few of them. Myself, I do eBay and Amazon, not yet, but you never know. And I think it's just so powerful to have multiple income streams in the reselling market, and there's so many platforms out there that we should all take advantage of fully, because there's a lot of money to be made, not just on eBay. I know the majority here are just eBay, but eBay, Amazon, whatnot, get on all of them and start making some real money.
So I would say the most mind-blowing thing was realising that you can sell things really, really cheap, but sell them really, really fast and make money. Obviously, we've been doing eBay for our reselling career, and recently jumped on the Whatnot platform, and it's really opened our eyes up to eBay as well, because selling things more faster, quickly, sell-through rate is super important, and we kind of already knew it, but then putting it into practice in an extreme way with Whatnot has really opened our eyes to actually we can run our eBay store better as well, just by taking some of that mindset and practice along. So that's been a big eye-opener for us, I would say.
Thank you.
Amazing, one, yeah? So, I'll come back to you. Right, let's go back. Front, cool. I'll come back on this.
Who keeps making money now?
Hi.
Keeps going up.
For someone who is looking to give up their regular job and become a full-time reseller, and obviously is worried about the financial risks of maybe doing that, what advice would you give them?
So I went full-time in 2020, March 2020. Do you know what that was as well? Lockdown. We were locked down. As soon as I literally left the police station, dropped all my uniform off, said bye to my copper friends and stuff. We went into lockdown, didn't we? And I was just like, what do I do now? But what was interesting, and this is what I always remember, what was interesting about it was all my stuff went to Italy. What was special about Italy? They were the first to lock down, and they were locked down for a long time. So I realised it didn't matter. You just keep doing the work, keep doing the processes, and it just comes through. And in your case, I think, so I was speaking to Lowell about it, and I was scared of leaving the cops. So when you're in the cops, you drill into the pension trap. I don't know if you got some cops here, but pension trap, this and this. And Lowell said to me, the worst thing that could happen is you go back to work. I even said to my superintendent, chief superintendent, said, you can come back whenever you want if you want. And it's been, 4 years now, and I ain't called him yet, so things are going kind of well. So really, it's just weigh it up, just work out what you need to quit. And if you're going to quit, then say, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I had a bit of a safety net because I know I had a job back again, but I think it is just, again, writing it all down, working out what you actually need. Because sometimes in your head you think you need more than you do, or less than you do, or something. Once you write it down, you can actually make a figure of it, which you can then work with, if that makes sense.
I agree with Pete in that you need to write down and work out exactly what you need, but I also think you should have a buffer. I never think you should make a jump unless you can afford for it to go wrong, and if you have a buffer, it's okay if it takes you a few months then to get on your feet properly and put the hours in and get it to where you want it to be.
Yeah, I was going to say the buffering thing. I actually saved 3 months of my wages before I sort of pulled the trigger. It's scary, but if you've got the drive and determination to do it, you'll make anything work. But it's super, super important that you write things down and work out exactly what you need, and then save at least 3 months. Well, I did. I saved 3 months of my working. wage, just to have that buffer, just in case anything did go wrong. Because like Pete, I left during lockdown. Same sort of scenario, always had a job where I used to work, but again, never called them, don't need to call them. A lot more happier now than working for somebody else. But yeah, it's a big jump, but as long as you've got a buffer, you should be absolutely fine.
Okay, so the sensible side of me agrees with that. But me and are both a certain type of personality, and we're very not risk averse. We'd be quite happy to jump into the fire. So and we started our reselling career same time as Pete, kind of when COVID hit, through necessity rather than choice. So we didn't have no choice in the matter. We needed to make some money, and we needed to make some money fast. So we dived right in head first. But in reality, yes, you need to know where you want to go, what are your goals, what do you want from reselling. It's okay just to make a living, but we need a little bit more than that, because things happen in life, business, that kind of thing. But the correct answer is exactly what Kieran said, is make sure you've got a buffer, make sure you give yourself a little bit of, a chance, let's say, because of things could go wrong quickly. But yeah, we're very much in jump into the fire and just do it, because that's what you want to do, so don't listen to me.
Yeah, so just a bit of what everyone has said really. I'm part-time at the moment. I am going full-time in May. But yeah, just having a buffer, knowing what you need in order to make that transition. I agree obviously with Daz as well, like just taking risks, not creating too many barriers for yourself, otherwise you'll never make that jump. And there's no harm in having a phased transitional approach whereby you do it full time with a 16 or 20 hour week part-time job, or if you're fortunate like myself, if you can be in a position where you've got a 0 hour contract with your employer, then it gives you that safety net. So yeah.
But as well, there's nothing wrong with having a part-time job, nothing wrong with having a job. So for a good 3 years, 2 years maybe, I dropped hours at work whilst I was doing my reselling. So I remember last year we had this conversation, and it was quite good because I kept thinking, yeah, the pinnacle is full-time, but some people saying like, they're proud to be part-time and do reselling, they're proud to be full-time and do reselling, like there's enough hours in the day to do it. And you have the safety net, so it has a massive advantage because you've got a full safety net where it's like, well, I've got work, I work for time rather than working for effort, but it still works. And so don't diss like the part-timer, you know what I mean? Don't diss them, because like it's a powerhouse, it's a power position to be in. You can make a lot of money, you know what I mean? So I remember I used to be able to say to Massage, I don't want to do overtime all the time. I used to love it because I could just walk out and they didn't have to dangle the carrot, and the carrot had no hold on me, you know what I mean? I was good, you know what I mean? So you don't have to do it if you don't really want to do it. And if it's not the right time, it's not the right time. So don't think too hard about it, I think, personally.
On the sort of contrast to that, I was going to say that if you feel like you want to do it but you're not ready, it will even if you've got the buffer and you've worked out what you need, it will still never feel like the right time, because it's always going to be a scary thing to do. But sometimes you just have to trust that you know what you're doing and just take the jump, because it will work out in the long run.
Out of interest, like Kieran, Talia, did any of you have to actually use your buffer when you made that transition?
No.
Good.
Not yet, but I only went full-time in January. So it's good to know, it's definitely easier knowing it's there. It's just a peace of mind, if nothing else.
Cool. Any other questions? Right, we'll come to the front and then we'll... Ian, I see you. I'll come back, mate. I'll to the front. I'll come and see you.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, Side Hustle Chick on Insta. I sell on eBay, Depop. I haven't quite gotten Whatnot yet. I've got a question, and Vinted, yeah. I've got a question for all of you. You obviously have your good days and your bad days. Has there been a time whereby, even if it's a change in circumstances, God forbid health, What would be your exit strategies out of from reselling?
Yeah, my Sarge, I need a job though. Please, just give me a job though, please. That's
But
it.
what would you do with your stock and everything?
Oh, I might apply for Asda or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have an exit strategy. If everything goes wrong, I'm quite happy to work behind a bar or do whatever it takes to get back in the game. That makes sense.
Yeah, very similar to Pete really. Before I left, I didn't leave on bad terms, so I knew that my job security was always there. So I would probably just go back to my old job.
Yeah, well, I think the question was more around what would you do with your stock? Is that?
Yeah, I've got a whole spare bedroom of like lots and lots of plastic boxes, like 110 litre boxes and everything of stock that I obviously paid for. Okay, so again, how would you get rid of that in such a short space of time?
Whatnot.
No,
realistically, you could, depending on how quickly you needed to get rid of it, obviously you could fire sale it on the platform, like really reduce the price down. Just try to get your money back. You know, bundle it up. You know, it depends on really the nature of how quick you need the cash. But yeah, Whatnot's a very good way to turn that money around quick.
And also, we've got an amazing community, so you could, if you are really needing to get stock moving quickly, I'm sure there'll be somebody in this room that would buy your 110 litre boxes off you.
Yeah, Whatnot.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to say, it's not mad, does it? Yeah. But what'll happen is, this will happen. You'll put it on Whatnot, you'll be like, I've got bare P now, I'm going to go back into reselling.
Yeah, I'd probably start with like the circle that I'm in within the reselling community and then just reach the wider reselling community. Yeah.
Put it on Instagram. Are you on socials at all? Yeah, if you put it on Instagram, I guarantee you people will snap you up for it. And look at Kieran, he's licking his lips.
How much?
Yeah.
I'm Victoria Adam 70 on Whatnot. This is to all of you. So I am literally brand new to this. I've only been in Whatnot for 3 weeks. So what would be your advice for someone who has never sold before? I've had an eBay account but never sold on it purely because I'm more of a face-to-face person, so I've done Facebook Lives, etc. for many years, hence why I like Whatnot. Shout out to Pete and Lo, they're the reason I'm doing this, in honesty. So the one thing that worries me is getting started and getting the stock. Obviously I'm here and I've got some stock now, but what would be your advice for someone who's never done this before about getting started, what to do, etc.?
I think there's one of the most important things is the research element first. Right? You need to know what you're actually picking up. Because you could have loads of money, you just go out and buy loads of stuff, which I did, and all that stuff wasn't that good. You know what I mean? So even if it's just watching other shows and just even making a note of like, okay, so the patty went for like £25, but the Peruna went for like 50p. So patties are good. Nike bought Nike this, like a sweater is good, but not this one. And it might take a bit of time. And that's the thing, like, it does take time. And I think people get caught in the thing thinking, well, we've done it very quickly, but I've been doing it for like 6 years, 6, 7 years. I'm still learning now. But it is just, I think research is so important. If you can sharpen your axe before you hit the tree, you're going to do way better than everyone put together, you know.
Yeah, similarly, like, join Instagram, watch hauls, watch YouTube videos, and just like absorb. Even if you think that you're not taking it in, you will remember labels and names, and when you see them, it will just trigger in your brain, okay, I need to buy that. And then selling, it's just kind of like trial and error, I feel, at the start. So if you can keep your buy price low, then your risks are small too. And I do think if I was starting to resell now, I'd probably stick to Vinted and Whatnot, because I think there's so much potential there that starting on multiple platforms at once is quite confusing when you're trying to learn a platform. So I definitely say build up one and then add in an extra, because as soon as you're an expert in one, you can then sort of branch out much more easily.
Yeah, I completely agree with Talia and Pete. Sorry. But yeah, learn brands, even learn the brands that are rubbish, because then you know never to pick them up ever again. It's not about learning the brands that are good, you've got to learn the brands that are rubbish, because there's a lot more rubbish out there in charity shops and car boot than you'll ever know. So as soon as you can learn them brands, you'll then start identifying higher end brands. Again, conquer one marketplace and then add in another one. Don't go guns blazing on two. Just concentrate on one. If that's Whatnot, it's Whatnot. If it's eBay, it's eBay. But sell-through rate when you're first starting is massive, and it's so key to get that sell-through rate done correctly. And just absorb YouTubers, Instagram people, and just talk to people in the community like you're here today. Go and talk to every single person here, and I guarantee you'll learn something from somebody. And that is the power of the community that we have now. Absorb it all in, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, not much more to add to that really. I mean, obviously what I would say is understand what you want out of reselling in the beginning, what's your goals. But yeah, knowledge is power, as Pete says. You know, it's a learning curve. I'm very much a believer in putting the reps in, do the work. You'll learn as you go. When I first started reselling 3 years ago, I literally knew nothing. I didn't know any clothing brands whatsoever. None. We were living in Thailand. I was walking around in flip-flops and shorts. I came back, I didn't even know what Superdry was. So, you know, it's just be prepared to be a voracious learner. Learn the brands, learn the knowledge, follow the amazing people that are on Whatnot. If Whatnot's the platform that you want to stay on, as the guy said, one platform, stick to one platform. Don't try to do too much at once, but you've got Pete and Lola, you've got these guys, you've got Luxury Pickers, you've got so many amazing resources to get brands and to learn and pick up what works and what doesn't. So just study, yeah, that's what I would say.
I do think as well, when you're learning, it's very easy to get caught up in which brands do I need to know, and brands aren't always the main thing. For example, Bowden, the labels change over the years. Old Bowden is bad to pick up, new Bowden is good to pick up, so it's learning the rules within the brands as well, and things like sizes. Certain sizes sell better than other sizes, fabric content, so it is practice and really sort of learning the niches kind of within this different brands, and it does take time, it doesn't happen overnight.
I find building a brand bank on your phone or a mental note in your head really helps. Embedding yourself into like Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, every time you come across a brand that you've never heard of before, just jot it down, and you know it will stick next time you come across it when you're out and about sourcing. What else? I think you don't have to look far. There's lots of people in this room who produce quality content week in, week out on YouTube. I can bet that most people in this room were inspired by someone in this room right now. So I think that's really helpful. So yeah.
Cool. We'll get around.
Hi, I'm Fletch from Suffolk. Yeah, my question is, I've only been reselling for quite a short time, and in the last year things have changed so much. Whatnot's grown up, and I love the Whatnot shows and everything. But goals have been mentioned a few times today. Have you found that you've been able to reach your goals, or what the impression I'm getting is that you have to be constantly prepared to change and evolve and everything, and who knows what's going to be happening next year? I mean, do you guys think that what you're doing now is what you'll be doing in 12 months' time?
I mean, personally for me, I think if it's working, I ain't going to change it. You know, and so with eBay, let's say if I just stayed on eBay, I would evolve and change on eBay, if that makes sense. So it's not that I had to like jump from a different platform. I just, for some reason, Whatnot just works for me. Like, just at my circumstances right now, it just means it's so easy for me just to slip into that and do that. But the evolving, the changing, it'll always be there, but it doesn't have to mean you have to change. So like in 12 months, I like to think I'm still doing the same thing because the output's very good, if that makes sense. And I'd like to stay like that, but obviously if it does change, I'm willing to do that if I have to do it. Like obviously I know like, when was it now? I can't remember. I think I blocked it out, the whole Poshmark thing. I don't know, I'll get a flashback. But, do you know what I mean? Like, we were like, okay, we're good to go, and then all of a sudden, they shut the doors. So, what could I do? I could just say, oh, that's it, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Or, I had to evolve and move on to something which is quite similar, but I moved into, obviously, something which I was doing anyway, which I kind of trained for and moved into the other one. So, yeah, I don't know what we asked. Sorry, the goals.
Yeah, it was just really, have you sort of hit, because to me it seems, and this is part of what I really want to, one of the reasons I really wanted to get into reselling, because you have to be flexible and things will change, you never know what's going to happen. But I guess at the same time, is it difficult to set goals, and have you maybe not achieved goals that you thought, or achieved more than you thought, or just what your experiences? Sorry, is that confusing?
That's a good question. What do you like? Yeah, you go.
I think as resellers, we enjoy flexibility. It's why we sell. So I think we are people that find it quite easy to adapt and evolve. And I think personally, I do find it quite difficult to set goals because I set a goal for next month, but then my goal has changed in 2 weeks' time. And that's okay. You have to roll with the punches, the ups and downs, and you have to follow trends. They're constantly changing. What was good last month might not be good next month. And I think as long as you're immersed in what's going on and you're soaking it all up, you're kind of like adapting without knowing you are, if that makes sense. So I think whilst goals are important and like projecting where you want your business to go is important, I think, like Pete said, if it's working, you've just got to keep rolling with it and hope that no huge hurdles come up as you go.
So Lola's like my business consultant, big up Lola. And so she talked about something called, what is that thing? DOA? DMO. Daily method of operation. She just, and I remember at one point I was stressing it on email. I was like, I'm not making as much as I was, this and that. She said, Pete, just trust your DMO and just work with it. And just so, I just went grinding, 10 listings, bam, 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 just doing what I'm doing, and it picked back up again. And I'm like, oh no, yeah, bang. Oh, sorry, daily method of operation. I don't know what I mean. Oh, my personal. So see these guys, I don't. Basically, it's tasks that I have to tick off every day, which are non-negotiables, yeah. Thanks, business consultant. That's so, as long as you think, right, okay, so I remember I had my DMO still, I think it was like 10 or 15 listings, like delist this amount, put away a certain amount. So it's like a workload for the day. And as long as I was doing that DMO, I was actually taking over nicely, if that makes sense. But when I started stressing, it was probably because I wasn't doing my daily method of operation. And I can guess a lot of the time, that's what happens. You start stressing, and you're like, have you listened to anything today? I'm like, no, I was watching Netflix. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's what happens, you kind of slip out of the mode. When things are going good, you kind of take one day off, it's oh yeah, good, yeah, I made like 150, like 200 quid today, I don't really need to list today because I'm having a good day. But then all of a sudden it starts catching up with you again, doesn't it? So, yeah, that's it. Is that alright? Is that sufficient, yeah?
So I would say goals are quite subjective for a start, so it really depends on what you mean by goals. Is it financial goals that you're more interested in? So financial goals, I would have financial goals set out, for sure, you know, but I would be very flexible on the timeline to what them goals take. So it's okay to say I want to make, you know, 10,000 a month or 1,000 a month or 100 a month, whatever it might be. But be prepared to be flexible on the timeline of how we hit them goals. So what we tend to do is we set goals and then we will work that backwards. We'll go, right, what does it need to take for us to actually hit that? And then it's about daily method of operation. It's about them doing the tasks every single day that's going to get you to that. Review that over and over and again. Am I on target? Am I not on target? And then you can move around and say, why am I not on target? Why am I not hitting the goals? Is there a reason why? Then you can work on that in order to get to where you want to go. So it's, by all means, set the goal, have big goals. I would definitely encourage everybody to have big goals, but be very flexible on the timeline of how long that takes, because otherwise you can be very frustrated when you don't get to where you want by the time that you want to go. So that's what I would say.
Cool. I'll take middle of the room. Any questions? Any other question before? Yeah. Oh, there's two there. I see. Already 2 seconds. I saw your hand first. I got back to you again. All right, 2 seconds.
Hello, I'm Red, Mama Red, whatever, bitch, whatever you want to call me. I'm sorry, that short here. Ooh. I'm so sorry. I'm old. Slap me, Kez. So we've been talking about sales. We've been talking about profit and time and energy and your goals. When it comes to the gross contribution of your profits, are all of you working towards affiliate, YouTube, ad sales, brand ambassador, the back end that several we all watch do really, really well? Are you looking to that as a supplemental income to your contribution to your business? YouTube channels, advertising, you know, brand ambassador, blah, blah, blah.
So for example, my YouTube, I did it by accident, and so that is a supplemental income that I have. So then with Whatnot, you have like the Whatnot ambassador scheme, and so we were talking actually next. We were talking about creating funnels within different things. So my start of that whole thing was Instagram. So I built my Instagram up, and that was like a little mini funnel. So if you know about funnels basically like you direct people to a call to action, if that makes sense, from that one particular platform. So, for example, I made my Instagram, then I started my YouTube, and then on Instagram I would say, come watch my YouTube. And then my YouTube got bigger from my Instagram, so now my YouTube's like, come on my Instagram. And so now, the YouTube now is like, okay, go to my Whatnot, go to this, go to this. So, I do see it as a massive thing to have. And so, yes, and Becky will be talking about it in a bit, how to create that. But I think it's a good thing to have. In this day and age, we don't have this whole, do your 9 to 5 and you can pay off your mortgage. So I think supplemental things like affiliate marketing and, like I said, the ambassador schemes and different things, they do work and they do help. And it's just, first of all, learning how to actually do it properly. Because sometimes you put an affiliate marketing hat on, and then all of a sudden, your Instagram page is literally like QVC. And it's just all pictures and pictures and pictures and pictures, you know, and so it doesn't work like that. And Lola could probably tell you way more about it. But I use my supplemental income, but I don't actually use it as my income to live on. I just have it literally comes in the bank and it goes in savings, because I don't want to use it ever, because I don't ever want to rely on it. So I never see it. It just keeps going, disappearing. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
I'll only promote what I strongly believe in on YouTube. So I'm probably one of the YouTubers that don't really promote too much, because I have to believe in the product and so that I can easily promote it. But I have used my YouTube and my Instagram followers to start a new business, which is behind us, Next Level Resell, which has helped funnel my subscribers into the new business that I've created with Sam. Which has obviously helped massively, and yeah, credit to everybody who has joined with Next Level. But if I didn't have that, I think it would be quite hard and a bit of a struggle to start a new business, because I'm a strong believer that followers and subscribers are a new currency in this world that we live in. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but the more followers you have, the more money you will make in this day and age. It's just the way in the world that we live in. But yeah, that's what I've got to say to that.
Well, what I will say with that kind of stuff, it has to be value. This is why Lola hasn't slept for like 6 months, because it had to be value. Does that make sense? Like, this thing couldn't be you guys here if last year it wasn't valuable. And obviously I'm guessing you guys came this year because you felt, oh, it's a bit valuable, I think this might benefit my life, if that makes sense. And so if you learn the word value, if you learn how to make something valuable, that's the basis of making anything, any kind of supplemental income, you know. I like to think my YouTube is kind of valuable and it's helped a bit and stuff, and I continue to try and always think, how can I keep it valuable rather than just, how can I make money? Because you can't make money, you have to make value. And from the value, people make money. Does that make sense? And that's how, I don't know, I think that's how capitalism works. You actually create something that is valuable enough for someone to exchange their money for. And that's how it grows, you know. So focus on value more, and then the money will come, I think. I'm just kidding.
So I would just say, as regards to things like ambassador programs and stuff like that, that usually comes on the back end of actually doing the work in the first place. So, you know, our primary business was eBay, and now partially Whatnot. It's kind of 50-50 at the moment. But doing the work on them platforms and really focusing on doing a really good job on those has opened up other opportunities. So I wouldn't say that we went looking for them. Obviously, they're amazing bonuses when they happen. So I would say do the work and offer value to people, whether it be even on the eBay platform and your reselling work, do a good job with your customers, give good customer service, create that amazing opportunity where people are going to come back, and then the other things will end up on the back end. You'll find that opportunities rise for you. That's what I would say. So I wouldn't really focus on trying to make those happen. Focus on making a strong business in whatever is your primary business. The other things will come later.
Yeah, so off the back of what you just said, that it can come afterwards. I just wanted to say, like, you don't have to have a YouTube channel or an affiliate program to be successful on platforms like Whatnot. It's not a necessity. If it's something you enjoy and it's a path you want to add to your business, then do it. But you don't need it to start with. If that makes sense.
That's a good point. Have we got the? I can't find Adam.
Where's Adam?
That is a really good point that you've said that about you don't have to have a following and influence for Whatnot, because that's something that we get asked all the time, and we hear a lot that you're successful because of your following. Obviously, me and Pete have done a lot to gain that following.
It's been like 7 years.
I call it a network, but I've been working on that for 9 years, so yeah, we are successful because of that, but that's taken work. But I've seen some people that have turned up on Whatnot without any of that, and that I've seen that are incredibly successful, and I'm just gonna find them. Naomi Mays.
Big up Naya.
Go for Naomi.
Big up Naya.
So Naomi, just tell them your story, because no, I'm not going to say it. You tell them about you and what you're doing on Whatnot, because you are pushing it.
Yeah, I started reselling about a year ago. I had no following. I had a personal Instagram, that was about it. Started on Vinted, then went to Whatnot. It's blown up. Like, you don't need a following, you just got to be personable, have good stock, and treat your customers like your friend, I would say. Because they're helping you too, you can help them too.
That was amazing. No, thank you. And then there's one more comment. BZR Clothing. I know he's relatively new as a reseller, but Connor, you turned up on the Whatnot. Like, how many followers do you have on social media? Just tell us like what you're doing right now on Whatnot. I think how many you sold 1,000 items in how many days? 20 days.
20 days, yeah.
And tell us like what you think. And if you think about that, guys, even if he made £3 on those 1,000 items in 20 days, that's £3 grand. It's money. So sometimes you think, oh, it's not going for a lot, but if you're selling a lot of items and you just got those little increments that are making money, it's big money. Tell us about yourself, Connor.
Yeah, similar. Selling for about a year. I was in the military until last June, so I left in June. Started this journey. Been on Whatnot 1 month, 2 weeks, and here we are. So yeah.
Do you love it?
Love it. It's mad. It's like say 1,000 items in, or 1,500 items now. Little flex. And then yeah, little flex. And then like I say, over 1,000 followers as well, which is and then I thought I'd be there. So yeah.
Big up Connor. So you can see these new platforms that are coming as a way to start a following. You don't need a following over there. It's like this is a fresh platform like Instagram, like YouTube. I can build a following from there, if that makes sense. I hope that's all right.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Whatnot, and you mentioned obviously two there, Roland Byers, Sheridan, crushing it as well.
Yeah.
He's a superhero, and maybe he's outside. Who knows? Oh, he's still Whatnot. He's
crushing it already.
Smashing it, yeah. So it's really good to see. And I think that's actually a question from Jasmine earlier as well. It's like, do you need a following to go across these new platforms? Yes, it's easier, Pete, but no. The answer is probably no. You need to live a good grad.
When I started YouTube, I had 0 subscribers. When I started Instagram, I had 0 followers. And all I looked into was, how do you grow this stuff? And it's give the people what they want. And it's not just, and you can do it like where you can just like get your phone out, just start recording, say, hi guys, yeah, so I'm just doing this, and you can do that, that's alright. But if you want that casual following, it don't, am I ripping on someone as well? Sorry. I wasn't ripping on you. Okay, that's how I started my Instagram. I just used to do that. But I love Sarah. It's alright. I don't hate that girl. No, she's good. But I just thought, right. So how do you build value? And so I started looking, researching. Do you understand the difference between a core viewer and a casual viewer? Do you know the difference? Hands up if you know the difference. 1, 2, yeah, maybe 3. If you want to understand it, that's okay, so there's something else. So what's the difference between a casual viewer and a core viewer? Because this is part of the research which you have to build in order to learn, okay, how do you increase the following on any platform? So that's something now. And so like I was saying before, like how do you get successful things like writing records and stuff? You've got to learn certain things like the difference between, let's say, a J cut and an L cut. Or what's the importance of a J cut and L cut in editing? Do you know the difference? Again, it's another thing which I had to learn because I didn't know any of this stuff. People think I edited for a while before. I literally used to go on YouTube and go, how do I bring the video onto the timeline? Okay, next video, how do I chop this video in half? Do you know what I mean? Literally, honestly, I had no idea. But now, I've been doing it for so long, I can pull a video out, chop it up, make sure there's like a paste. Do you know about paste editing? You know what paste editing is? That's another thing you need to know about videos and on YouTube. Again, paste editing. What does that even mean? So you got to learn that again. So what's paste editing? Watch it here. Okay. So I don't even know.
No, that's brilliant. I think everyone understood. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's brilliant.
We've got two. Well, basically, you got to research.
We've got 2 minutes left, and I appreciate there's a lot of questions. So we're going to do some quick fire questions. When you get a question from the audience, you guys quickly decide who's the best answer in a 30-second response. Got it? Cool. Ian, you had a question, right?
Mate, I've spoken enough.
Let Karim speak. Come on, reply to the 3 of them.
Hey guys, sorry, it's not really a question for the panel. I was really intrigued about the question going from part-time to full-time, and I'm very much in the part-time camp. So I'm just interested, who here sells full-time as a reseller? How many full-timers have we got? And then how many part-timers is it? So you can see actually, for the part-timers, we are in good company. It's not, going full-time isn't the be-all and end-all, is it? You can make reselling work just as a part-time as well. I think Pete, that's something which you echoed earlier. So, yeah, it is nice to know we're not alone.
Questions? Quick fire questions, right, here we go. Guys, quickly decide who's going to answer it because we are getting very close to the ear mark.
How do you make selling on Whatnot profitable?
Go to Dad's. Go to Dad's.
You don't.
You've got to buy at the right price, and you've got to build up a following, you've got to be consistent, you've got to put up good stuff, and yeah, you've got to buy at the right price. That's a big factor. But you've got to buy the right stuff, that's mostly important, because quite honestly, rubbish fetches rubbish prices.
Another one is just come to our Whatnot and then you get a really good price on that.
Time for one more. One last quick fire question. Hands up. Up there. Right, come there. Mr. James, let's go.
Hi, James here. I see there's a lot of clothing and fashion on the panel. If all of that was to stop now, what would you all niche into next?
It won't stop. Everybody needs clothes.
Shut him down.
Can we get a massive round of applause for